A few weeks ago, we conducted this workshop on digital first careers for all the subscribers of Point 99. Now, you would have heard of these new age roles that are present, which include category management for companies like Amazon and Flipkart, product management for companies like Google and Microsoft, performance marketing for companies like, say, Meta, YouTube, and so on and so forth, and also brand management, which is important in terms of companies like, say, HUL, Nestle, and so on and so forth. Add to that new age roles like being at the founder's office or an entrepreneur in residence, and you will have all these kind of roles that are very lucrative for fresh graduates, especially among MBA aspirants. The workshop was conducted by the founder of a very unique institute, which is the Altera Institute. Karan Bhagi, who is the founder of Altera Institute, is a known name in the FMCG and the marketing domain, and he is known for primarily his work with Surf Excel. Even before he and his team started the Altera Institute for postgraduate students, they have been teaching employees of some of the largest companies / conglomerates of India, including HUL, Nestle, Amazon, Levi's, MTR, and many more. In fact, I also discovered about them when I heard about their programs and what all they covered in it from someone in my circle. The idea of this workshop came to me as a lot of my students asked me about these kind of careers in e-commerce, product, brand, founder's office. What exactly do these people do? What skills are required to get in as they are preparing for their B school interviews? This is where partnering with an institute that specializes in just this domain came to the fore. The workshop was a successful one in which students learned about the different roles that are present, the changing landscape of the industry, and how a day in the life of a growth manager looks like, which is a very sought after job across B school campuses. They also got a chance to work on live illustrations of these kind of roles at companies such as Licious and the Urban Company. But post this workshop, a few of my students came back to me asking if they should be applying to Altera Institute and who is it good for, who is it not so good for. So over the next few minutes, I'll be discussing these very aspects of the Altera Institute. Before we go about listing the pros and cons of Altera Institute, I will tell you one thing right off the bat, that it is not a usual B school like some of the other older ones. While most B schools in India go for a multidisciplinary approach in terms of career options that they provide for students, Altera Institute has a different approach to it, and that is its biggest USP and its key differentiator. Altera Institute is a specialized B school for careers primarily in digital first domains like e-commerce, product management, brand growth, media management, founder's office, strategy roles, and so on and so forth. Now, this means that a major chunk of hiring that happens in BFSI operations, offline sales does not happen at this institute. They have a hard inclination towards careers in e-commerce, brand, product, and more than the ones that I just mentioned here. Now, is this approach a good one or a bad one? Now, according to me, there is a nuance that is present in this question, and it's not a simple yes or no kind of a question. In my discussion with the founder, Mr. Karan Bhagi, he mentioned that how even large organizations like say HUL, Amazon, Mamaearth, etc. struggle to find talent for digital first roles. Having led the e-commerce team at HUL, he along with the numerous business leaders that were present at HUL and the ones who teach at Altera have felt the talent gap for these kind of roles. And this got me thinking, why is that? It's not like the other B schools are so bad that they are not able to produce outcomes in these domains. The answer lies when you compare the industry landscape with the B school landscape in parallel. So let's take a 30 seconds dip into history. MBA as a program was started by Harvard, and you'll be surprised to know that it started as a program in 1908, which is more than a century ago. And it was needed as a response to the demand that was present in the industry for good managers. With industrial revolution touching all the aspects of life, which again began a few centuries ago, there was a requirement for managers who had a horizontal skill set. Horizontal skill set meaning that they were good across multiple domains and they could manage diverse streams or diverse teams like say marketing, finance, sales, HR, operations, factory, and many more. So that was basically where MBA came into the picture. Thus, a multidisciplinary approach was required, that one person had to be good across a lot of these domains that were present at that point in time. But through the following years, this landscape changed. In fact, today if you look at it, AI is dominating each and every sphere of management that you can come across. And many of these jobs that were earlier supposed to be done by people have now got that AI boost to them. Now, what happened is, as the industry changed, the B schools should have also changed their curriculum. But except for maybe the top 10 to 15 B schools in this country, not a lot of colleges will focus on updating their curriculum every 2 to 3 years. And that is where the gap lies. This is where the regulatory bodies like AICTE and UGC come into the picture, which will prescribe a curriculum that addresses the needs of today. But this curriculum, in spite of getting through or going through a lot of revisions, in spite of that, it still focuses on a lot of aspects that include theoretical learning and outdated concepts which are almost archaic, if you ask me. Let's take an example. 20 years ago, if your company had to launch a brand, there were three key pillars to it. The first thing was actually making the product. The second thing was promoting the product so that people know that such kind of a product exists. And the third thing was selling it at the right places. And how did you promote these kind of products that were there? A lot of people or a lot of companies promoted these products through TV, radio, newspapers, which had outreach to a mass that was there. But let's talk about today. Hardly anyone will watch cable TV anymore, especially in metros, and radio and newspapers we can leave aside easily, right? Not a lot of us even listen to the radio or read a lot of newspapers, especially in the text format. Now we live in this age where an average person spends more than 6 hours every day staring at mobile screens or laptop screens. And now if the brands continue to focus on TV, radio, newspapers, then it's going to be a big loss for these companies that are there. And this is basically where performance marketing, which I spoke about earlier in terms of say Meta or YouTube, these roles come into the play. Digital marketing, these roles come into the play, and digital brand building as a whole will come into this particular picture. And I'm not just talking about brands here. I'm also talking about retail. As a child, you would be more inclined to buy something from your local kirana shop or a local grocery store that was there. But now a lot of this landscape has changed, and a lot of the percentage of revenue for a lot of FMCG companies comes from the e-commerce and quick commerce platforms. And this is basically where a lot of category management roles, product management roles have appeared. Now, these two are the cases that I have mentioned here purely because they are relatable to the audience that we have here. And any industry you pick up, you be it say in terms of aeroplanes, the airline industry, the steel industry, cement industry, pencil industry, any industry you pick up, you will want people to be hired who are like adept in terms of digital management or in terms of digital marketing, right? So these things are very important when it comes to making hiring decisions by a lot of companies across the sectors that we are in currently. Now, there is this very interesting term in management called arbitrage. Arbitrage basically means the gap that exists between the prices at two locations, technically, if you look at it. So if you buy something from one location where it costs 10 rupees to you and you sell something at another location wherein it gives you 12 rupees, then you are basically creating a margin of 2 rupees on an investment of 10 rupees. That is arbitrage. The same concept is applicable to talent as well. Whereas there is a lot of demand for talent in terms of digital first roles, there is a lot less supply. Now, mathematically, if you think about it, if you look at, say, the top 20 colleges that are there, which includes the IIMs, XLRI, FMS, ISB, and so on and so forth. So, all these colleges that are present, say, in the top 20 or top 25 institutes of this country, these people will be more or less contributing, say, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people to the industry in terms of digital first roles. But is this the demand of the country? Do you think there are only 5,000 roles that are available in this particular country when it comes to all these companies that I mentioned and more? The answer is a hard no. And this is the foundation on which Altera Institute is based. Now, Altera, of course, is not a traditional B school wherein there will be PhD professors who will teach you a curriculum that is prescribed by a regulatory body. And it is definitely creating a niche for themselves in providing talent for these roles that are present. So that is basically where Altera Institute comes into the picture. Now, the three key USPs of the Altera Institute are basically who teaches, what they teach, and how they teach it. Now, in terms of who teaches, the industry professionals that are from top companies, these will be the people who will be teaching you. These people have built businesses and brands and are CXOs and business leaders. These people will be the one who teach at Altera, and 100% of the curriculum is taught by industry mentors only. Now, how this particular thing is done, or what is this thing that is done, what they teach is completely an industry backward manner. That is the approach that Altera Institute follows. Abhi industry backward manner kya hota hai, right? So here what happens is, instead of talking about theoretical concepts that are there, these concepts are created. The curriculum is designed and created by founders and faculty, senior leaders at organizations like HUL, Mama Earth, Mullen Lowell Intas Group. ये सारे लोग आके curriculum create करेंगे, and and this basically ensures that the curriculum is up to date. Now, how they teach this curriculum is also very important. This is taught in an application focused manner so that you know what exactly to do at your job while you are at the institute as well. And this happens through industry immersions, a lot of sprints, live projects with D2C brands and mid-sized businesses, and a lot of simulations, some of which you would have experienced when you attended the workshop that was conducted a few weeks ago. Here are my final 2 cents in this discussion. If you are getting into the top 10, 15, 20 colleges in the country or a good brand, then definitely go ahead and do it, because the roles that you will be getting at these campuses will definitely be comparable or even better than the roles that you might get across other campuses. But if you are looking at a tier 2 B school or a tier 3 B school wherein you are going to get back-end roles, relationship manager kind of roles, slow growth roles which will hinder your career progress, then Altera is an option that I would urge you to consider. It could be a good option from a career perspective. It's a new institute and it is possible for students with say 85, 95 percentile to get in if they do well. But then again, of course, in the years that they will be in this particular sector, I'm sure they will grow as a brand and will gain more prominence. And while I don't directly endorse joining Altera Institute, I would like to say that you want to hear things from the horse's mouth. So what I would suggest is you talk to their alumni, talk to their current students and hear what they have to say. You can also interact with the people who teach at Altera and the people who are associated with Altera, and I'm sure you will get a good picture of what you are getting into. And of course, it's your call at the end of the day. If you like the curriculum, if you like the pedagogy, if you like the people behind this particular institute, then you can definitely go ahead and join it. I hope you got a good deal of insight in terms of digital first roles and Altera Institute in particular. I'll see you in the next video with more such insights and more such discussions in terms of B schools and preparation.